Hello, the purpose of this workshop is to teach people the hows and whys of uh, introducing the CUTCO kitchen concept. Okay, ultimately, the end result of this should be that people will sell a higher percentage of orders. They will sell larger orders on average, and maybe just as importantly, or even more importantly, that customers will tend to have better and bigger wish lists and buy multiple orders over time. Okay, that's the whole concept of the reason why we want to teach this thing called the CUTCO Kitchen. So I'm going to start off with some philosophy, some understanding consumer behavior, and some human psychology behind negotiation and how people make decisions, kind of. So first thing I'll say is, whenever I was a new rep, when I learned this concept that I wanted to ask people to buy the homemaker set, even if I didn't think they were going to get the homemaker set. Now I know we're supposed to, have high expectations and expect that everyone would be able to get the set. But when we're new, sometimes that's harder, and so I don't know if it was at a workshop or if it was at a conference or something, but I remember someone saying, we ask for the homemaker set, ask them if they want to buy the homemaker set, not because we always think they're going to buy it, although they might. We ask them because it gives us a place to start and a place, to drop from. So I remember being told that, if you want to sell homemaker sets, well, ask for something bigger than the homemaker set, right? Well, we didn't have ultimate sets and signature sets and all kinds of things like that. So I saw somebody talk about, or actually do, an appointment, and they asked for the homemaker set and the kitchen tools and the shears, and they put them all together and quoted the price on all of those together with, something else for free, a fishing knife or a hunting knife or something for free. And it blew my mind. I was like, whoa, wait, you can do that? And so starting with the bigger, the homemaker plus those two other items gave us a higher place to start, right? And so, we would drop down by saying, well, tell you what, if you didn't want the fishing knife for free, we could do the kitchen tools for free instead, and that would bring the price to this. How does that work? How does that sound for you? And we're able to ask multiple times for different orders before getting to the galley set, right? And so my percentage of galley sets when I was new was very high. I sold a lot of galley sets and a lot of this thing called the CUTCO game. If you've never been trained on the CUTCO game, then watch a different video because I have a training on that. It's a way to customize a 5-piece set, basically. And whenever I started starting bigger than the homemaker set, I started selling, guess what, more homemaker sets, right? So the psychology behind that is anytime you want to get something in any kind of a negotiation, the smart thing to do is ask for more than you want or more than you might expect. And we do this not just so we can sell bigger orders, right? We do this because it's going to help customers get more CUTCO, and we all know that the more complete a customer's set is, the more satisfaction they have from the product, right? We've all done it. We've seen people who have CUTCO and they have a knife or two or three, and you mentioned CUTCO and they're, oh yeah, CUTCO, they're really good. They're the best, the best knives I've ever used, right? But then you have people who have a set, a galley set, a homemaker set, a signature or an ultimate set. Then those people, they're not just, oh, CUTCO's really good. They're like, oh, CUTCO, that stuff is awesome. And they're like doing backflips and they're telling you how amazing it is and how long they've had it. And, they like sell you on the product, right? So that's a common thing, right? So we know that people are happier when they have, or more satisfied, I should say. I don't know how happy a person is, but they're more satisfied with their purchase, the more complete of a set that they have, right? So if we're thinking for the customer's benefit long-term, we want them to have the most satisfaction from an order. Okay? And how they buy the order, the buying process, also dictates how much satisfaction they're going to have. I'll give you an example. Let's say you were selling a car, okay? And you were selling a car, and let's say you wanted $2,000 for this car. Obviously it's, you're selling on Craigslist or something, right? So you want $2,000 for the car. So you advertise you got this car for sale, and someone comes over and looks at the car and they look at it and they say, tell you what, I'll give you $2,000 for the car, right? Well, if that's what you wanted, one option, you could just say, sold, right? And shake their hand and be done with it, right? And they would leave, and that's scenario number one, right? Scenario number two, let's say they look at the car and they like it and they say, I'll give you $2,000 for it. Well, what if you said, instead of sold, what if you said, it's really 2,000, kind of 3,000 is kind of my price that I'm looking at here. And they go, no, I can't pay 3,000. So, I don't know, what do you want to do? And you're negotiating, and then you say, well, how about we split the difference, right? And you should never be the one, by the way, to split the difference. You should always make that to be somebody else's decision to split the difference. But that's a whole nother scenario. Let's say, you said 2,500, right? And they'll go, 2,500, I don't really, it's not really in my budget. I tell you what, I could do 2,250. Okay. And you're like, 2,250. Well, I really need the money, and I've already got another car and everything. So yeah, okay, let's go ahead and do it, right? And you shake their hand, and they buy the car, and then they drive off. Okay, so you got two scenarios. One person bought the car for $2,000. One person bought the car for $2,500 or $2,250. My question is, which one of those two customers is more satisfied with their purchase, right? I would portend to say that the person that paid more is actually more satisfied with their purchase, because the person that bought the car for $2,000, when you just agreed to $2,000, they're going to be driving away, and every time they drive that car, they're going to be thinking, man, I probably could have got a better deal on this car. I probably could have got a better deal on this car, right? And they're going to feel not as satisfied with the purchase, right? But then you got the person that paid $2,250. That person is going to, every time they drive the car, man, I got a really good deal on this. I saved $750, right? And in their mind, they're happier about the purchase. You need to recognize that $250, that's completely irrelevant to how the customer feels about the purchase. It is completely irrelevant, because over the course of a lifetime, $250 is, it literally is, well, I shouldn't say it's literally nothing, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all to that customer over a period of time for their overall finances. So just a concept to understand. And when I started to understand that too, it really changed my perspective and understanding of human psychology and consumer behavior, and how I wanted to make that buying process really good for the customer, that buying experience really good for the customer. So we want to give customers good deals, right? Of course. But more important than the price that they pay is how they feel about the price that they pay. And I know that hopefully that doesn't sound manipulative or anything, because it's the absolute truth. Okay, so that's just some psychology as around why we want to start with the CUTCO kitchen. We want to start. Now, I'm not saying to close on the CUTCO kitchen. And by the way, if you don't know what the CUTCO kitchen is, the CUTCO kitchen is basically this right here. Okay, there's a whole brochure about it. If you don't have one of these, you want to get it ASAP. L155 is the catalog number. It's not something that comes normally in literature, but we can order it from the company. L155. You can order these and get them in. We keep several hundred of these at our office at all times. If anybody wanted to come by our office and get some of those, we could do that for you. But anyway, the CUTCO kitchen is a knife set. It's a flatware set. It's cookware. Okay, and it's gadgets. Okay, and there's a way at the beginning of the demonstration of the demo to present this, whether it's a service call or whether it is someone who's never seen CUTCO before, to plant the seed that this CUTCO kitchen, that's what you want, Miss Jones, basically is what we're going to say. We want to present it in a way that they're going to want everything that we make. Okay, they're going to want everything. The CUTCO kitchen. It's not a set like the signature set, right? The CUTCO kitchen, it's a concept, is what it is. It's like, if someone has the same appliance, let's say they have a Viking stove, and I think Viking makes ranges and they make refrigerators and all those things, but if they had matching everything, that would be a Viking kitchen, for example. So what we want is all the things that are not the permanent things that are like installed into the house or the refrigerator or whatever. We want everything else to be CUTCO, right? And they could literally get rid of everything else, all the different things they would use in the kitchen, right? So the CUTCO kitchen, the concept, okay? So there is a very specific way to introduce it, and I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you a handout. Now, this handout has two parts. One is a word-for-word written out, just like literally you could just memorize it. The other thing is on this handout is just kind of the exact same thing, even the same verbiage, but in an outline form, kind of in a bullet point form. Some people like word for word, some people like bullet point. I could use either one, basically. Okay, so I'm going to show you my screen, and I'm going to share this with you and let you see it. And here we go. Okay, so that's the outline form. So this is the word for word form. We'll just start with the word for word form, okay? I'm just going to go through it, and I'll try not to explain too much as we go through it, but it's hard because there's so many really cool things about our product line. In fact, I'm not going to explain a whole lot. We'll save those for later. There's a cookware training you can go through as well. But here's how we introduce it, okay? So our company's dream, and I'm right at the top of the page here. Hopefully you can see it. I'll make it a little bit bigger for you, just so you can see it all. Okay, there you go, should be good. Our company's dream is to help every home in America to have what's called a CUTCO kitchen. Now, all that means, Ms. Jones, is that we want people to see the benefits of owning a matching set of kitchen products that looks great, works great, made in America, and lasts forever, as opposed to what most people have, which is stuff that doesn't match, doesn't look all that great, doesn't work very well, and is made everywhere but America, okay? And I'll stop there. There's certain things that are in italics and underlined and everything. You want to learn how to say the words. The words are vitally important. Every one of these words has been meticulously chosen by me, who put together this this little script. And I learned it from listening to a lot of other top people and just base what I know about consumer behavior and word choice. But it's not just the words only, it's how you say the words as well. There's certain things you want to emphasize, right? You want to put the emphasis on the right syllable, right? So that's why some of these things are kind of underlined and italicized, so you can kind of know how to adjust your tone and speed for different things, okay? So anyway, made everywhere but America. Now, there are 4 facets, Miss Jones, of the CUTCO kitchen. First of all, there's knife sets, right? And you can just use the front of this. I like to open it, okay? First of all, Miss Jones, there's knife sets, right? And you just kind of basically show them this page right here. And it's got the complete set, it's got the family set, and it's got the basic set. And I love it when you put these 3 together, because look how small the basic set looks, right? And it is small compared to these other 2, right? So I love being able to do that because it puts in perspective that this is the basic set. This is the basic set right here, right? So there's 4 facets of the CUTCO kitchen. Knife sets. We also have cookware sets, right? And you just basically open up to the cookware sets like this, okay? And then flatware sets. You can say silverware if you want. They're not actually silver, so I just prefer using the term flatware so there's no confusion. But people, silverware is a common phrase also, common way to call it. And also accessories, okay? Flatware and accessories. Now, the accessories are amazing, and people love having items that look great, work great, guaranteed forever. And we have a full line of specialty gadgets, okay? And you just basically let them take a peek at that, and you're keeping an eye on them as you're saying this. You're just kind of keeping an eye on them and seeing what kind of attracts their eye. Did they get a twinkle in their eye, okay? And they might look at that, oh, you have wine opener, especially if it's somebody who already owns CUTCO, right? This is a really quick and easy way to let them see a lot of other things that are in there without having to flip page after page after page in the blue book, although that can be very effective as well, okay? So they kind of see that and they look at that and they'll go, oh, wait a minute, you have wine opener? What's this thing? Oh, that's can opener, right? And you might end up having a 1-minute conversation about some of these items here as well, okay? So you just finished up talking about this. Now you back up, okay? We have a full line of specialty gadgets, and then you're gonna reopen, okay? And you're gonna see the flatware, okay? This is the order of this thing. The order matters how you do it, okay? The legacy flatware, right? Legacy, that's a really great word to use. The legacy flatware is a timeless design that never changes. Now, most flatware companies discontinue designs that go out of style, and it's impossible to find replacement pieces. It's pretty cool that with CUTCO, the teaspoon measures an actual teaspoon. It's exactly a teaspoon, and the tablespoon measures exactly a tablespoon. And the table knives actually has an edge that cuts. Imagine that, right? Interesting concept, right? The legacy flatware it's the kind of thing that families pass on from generation to generation, and it has the biggest built-in discount of any sets we offer. Okay, really important. You're already planting seeds for when you get sets. They're discounted, right? And you want to be using the word set over and over and over again. And we'll have another video training on the flatware and talk about how to present the price of the flatware so you can see how it's discounted. It's pretty awesome when you present the flatware properly. It's really difficult for customers to say no. Okay, they do sometimes, but it's difficult. So if they have this much interest in the flatware, you want to make sure that you're pitching it in the beginning. Pitching, oh, I don't like that word. You're talking about it in the beginning, and you kind of look and if their eyes kind of get a little sparkle or twinkle, then you know that that's something you might want to talk more about. Okay, then you're going to go to cookware sets and say the cookware sets are made in America. Now this kind of cookware, Miss Jones, because it conducts heat so well, it cooks using a lower temperature and almost no water. This retains more color, more taste, and more nutrition in the food. It saves time, saves you money. Your food looks better, it tastes better, and it's far healthier. Now, when we do live cooking demonstrations with the cookware, we actually can bake a cake on top of the stove. And imagine when the lid is on there, how much moisture stays in. And it's some of the most moist, tasty cakes that you'll ever eat. And we also can even hard boil eggs without covering them with water because the cookware conducts heat so well. Now, we're not the only low moisture cookware on the market. There are at least a half dozen other brands that work just as good, but are not guaranteed as well and offer, and our sets offer a 20 to 30% lower price. Okay. Now, let me real quick about the cookware. Cookware, it just simply conducts heat better because of how it's constructed, not getting into the details, right? If you just show them a picture and say, oh, hey, are you interested in cookware, right? Most everybody's just going to say, oh, I've got cookware, it's fine, okay? That's what most people are going to see. Every once in a while, someone will say, oh, yeah, I've been looking at cookware, right? But so you want to say this paragraph, though, before you give them a chance to say my cookware is fine, because they need to know that this is, in all likelihood, very different from what they're using to cook things in, okay? And cooking in CUTCO cookware is a completely different experience. That's why we want to reserve training you completely on a whole workshop just on the cookware, okay? But that's just some bullet points to mention. And then the last thing you just kind of bring it all back to what you've been trained on, which is the knife sets, right? So say what we'll focus on today, Mrs. Jones, is the knives. These are the three most popular sets. You've got your complete set here. Now this is not for everyone, okay? Now this is called a push away, all right? Now this set, Ms. Jones, is not for everyone, okay? People are used to most salespeople, just saying, oh, everybody should buy this, right? So this says not for everyone. There's two kinds of people that get this, okay? First of all, someone who prepares food every single day, sometimes more than once a day, or people who just like to have the best of everything, okay? Now, your family set here is more for people who just prepare food more like 5-6 times a week. And then this small set here is called your basic set. Now, for 50 years, all we had at CUTCO was the basic set, right? And this is for people who don't really cook all that much, maybe 2 to 4 times a week. But in 1999, the company added this complete set, right? It was in honor of the 50-year anniversary of CUTCO. And this set they made with all of the specialty knives that we've been making for many years. Then finally, 11 years later, the company came up with this family set. And all this family set it's the basic set, but it adds the 4 most popular customer requested items, okay, that's in that. And once I go through some of these, we'll talk about that more at the end. Okay, now most people, Ms. Jones, don't get everything, the whole CUTCO kitchen all at once. Now sometimes the timing is right, and some of our clients do get the complete CUTCO kitchen right away. And that's great because when they get one of the bundle options with all of it together, they can save a couple of $1,000s. But it's most common to focus on 1 or 2 of the facets of the CUTCO kitchen and then work on completing it later on. Okay, does that make sense? Great. Well, let me go ahead and get started. Right? Let me show you our 2 items that kind of demonstrate the quality of CUTCO and how it works. And then you just dive into the, whatever it is you do next. You show the shears and the peeler, or maybe you save the peeler for the end. But the point is, that's all at the beginning. Once you've kind of built your rapport, if you use a demo verification form, you've filled that out, you've got some good information, some intake information, and then you introduce the idea of the CUTCO kitchen. It's also really, really great, as I mentioned, to do this on service calls, because when you do it on a service call, it really helps you when you're going to create a wish list, right? And creating a big wish list is really key for having very strong last few days of push periods, last few days of an All-American scholarship. It's a good way to have a really big November, because if you're asking people on their wish list, who might enjoy getting CUTCO as a gift, right? if you want to sell gifts right now, just ask the simple question, who do you know who's getting married within the next year? Next 12 to 18 months, right? And most everybody who's a Mac knows at least a few people who have wedding plans coming up. So that's how you introduce the CUTCO kitchen. Hopefully that was helpful. I would recommend that you role play this. If you're watching this, hopefully you're doing this in your office and you've got the handout. If you don't have the handout, you can email me or text me and I'll get it to you as soon as I can. And it has both. It has the outline form and it has the written out form. Take care, everybody. I will finish sharing and turn this off. Hey, go sell some sets. How about drop a CUTCO kitchen every once in a while?